Hi, just want to talk to you about the story of Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. It's kind of an interesting one for me. And I'm going to start in verse 39 as Jesus says, "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there for 4 days." Then Jesus said, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me. But I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen, and a cloth wrapped around his face. And then Jesus said, "Take off the grave clothes and let him go." This story, every time I read it, brings back to me the memory of July the 27th, 17 years ago, when I lay in a hospital with tubes down my throat, doctors jamming me with adrenaline, epinephrine, and I don't know what else, IVs in me. I had ended up in an emergency room choking from an overdose. And now understand, I did not do drugs, didn't really even drink. I'd had one drink of rum and I'd taken one puff off of a joint to impress two women that I had gone to a party with. After that, I was drinking Diet Pepsi, and all of a sudden I collapsed, choking. People are rushing me into the hospital. And I have blurry memories of that night, of doctors asking me what I'd taken, what I'd been on. The next day I walked out of that hospital hale and hearty after a doctor read off a litany of chemicals in my body, including heroin and cocaine, none of which I had purposely used. And as much as most people would say that would scare a person straight and bring them to God, it was another 13 years before I came to Christ. I went through a lot of experiences in the meantime, and I lived a very bad life in many ways, lifestyle choices that were just wrong, sinful, and in some cases depraved. But 13 years later, when I thought I was at the last 2 minutes of my life, Jesus Christ saved me and called me home. And I want to tell you, it doesn't matter where you are right now. It really doesn't. Whether you're in a bad marriage, if you're just feeling hopeless and lost, if you're struggling financially, if you are into drugs, if you are struggling with alcohol, if you have another addiction, none of that is truly what counts. What counts is that Jesus Christ loves you. He loves you the way that he loved me and loves me. And he is waiting to bring salvation and hope in your life. He's waiting to bring peace into your heart. And he is a patient God who will wait forever for you to say yes. And it doesn't matter how many times you say no. It doesn't matter how many times you reject him. The only thing that counts is that one time that you say yes. And Jesus Christ will bring hope, peace, and joy into your life.